Okay, hey guys, welcome to your Monday flow. Today, our flow is going to be all about grounding, about settling your energy, especially if you feel like out of control or like there's a lot going on around you. This is a nice practice to come back to whenever you need to like chill. We're still going to work hard, we're still going to get sweaty, but the emphasis is going to be on settling. So with that being said, I am going to move to my spot back here. And we are going to begin today in what's called Vajrasana. So you're going to bring your feet and your knees together. And you're going to sit down onto your heels. And then you're just going to allow your hands to rest on the tops of your knees. And you can close your eyes. I'm actually going to do a little shift forward so I can get a little closer to you guys here. So as you settle down into that Vajrasana, just let your attention come to your breath. You don't have to change anything in these first couple of minutes, just aware of your breath. And then you can start to deepen that breath. So take a nice big inhale through your nose. Expanding the side waist, expanding the chest. And then exhale, open your mouth, let it go. And then again, nice big inhale through your nose. Gather up all that stuff you've got going on. And then exhale, open your mouth, let it go. And with one more big inhale through your nose, you fill up whatever else might be lingering in the deep little crevices of your body and in your mind. And then exhale, open your mouth, let it go. And then you start to find that steady, even breath in and out through your nose. It may be a light constricting of the sides of your throat, creating that audible ujjayi breath. Or it may be just a gentle ribbon of air in and out through your nose. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and blink your eyes open. You can take a couple of rounds of what I like to call vertical cat-cow. So you're just going to inhale, lift the chest towards the ceiling. You might slide the hands back towards your hips. And then exhale, slide the hands forward over your knees and around through your spine. Drop the chin towards your chest. And again, inhale, lift the chest, slide the hands back. Exhale, round through the spine, tuck your chin, slide the hands forward. And one more time, just like that nice vertical cat-cow, inhale. And then exhale, round. And then this time, keep your hips on your heels, just crawl your hands forward. We come into an active child's pose. So your knees are together. It's unlikely your forehead will touch the floor at this point, and that's okay. But press the hands into the ground with vigor. Right? So a grounding practice, you're really exploring your relationship with the ground. So can you root all four corners of your palms down? Draw those arm bones up into the socket. Keep your hips heavy and reach the crown of your head forward. So maybe you feel a little length in the spine. And then surrender to that forward action and shift onto all fours, stacking your shoulders right up over your wrists. And you may find that after being on your heels for that long, you might need to tap your feet a little bit, get some circulation going. And then tuck your toes. Press those toes down into the floor, right? So finding that root, hugging the outer ankles in. And then lift yourself up into your first downward facing dog, right? So you may feel a little extra sticky in the backs of the legs and in the calves here after sitting on the tops of your shins for a long time. So as always, if you want to bend one knee really deeply, followed by the other, pedaling out the feet just a little bit, that's a fine option. And then sending those heels down towards the floor any amount, lift through your low belly. Engage your upper outer arms, and then notice if you're holding tension in your head or your neck. You can, even here in this dog, nod your head gently, yes. Shake your head no. And then just let your ears come in line with your biceps so the head's not sinking down. And then bend your knees, shift your hips back, send your gaze forward towards the front of the room, and walk your feet all the way up to the top of the mat. Separate your feet about hip bones distance apart. You're going to interlace your hands back behind you. If that's a little too much, you can hold a t-shirt or a strap or a towel. And then reach the arms up and overhead. Bend really deeply through your left knee, straighten through your right leg, and roll the right shoulder up towards the ceiling. And then come back to center. Switch the crossing of the arms. Bend through that right knee. Roll the left shoulder over. And then come back to straight. Release the arms down towards the ground. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward, coming into that flat back position. Exhale, releasing over. Press down through your feet. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up and overhead. And then exhale, draw the hands to prayer at your heart. Close your eyes. You might keep your feet hips distance apart, or you might draw them all the way together. Just release your hands down towards the ground. There's no posture better for grounding than Tadasana. So finding your strong mountain pose here until you feel all four corners of your feet rooting down into the ground. Softening just a wee bit behind the backs of the knees. Lifting through your low belly, lengthening through the spine, balancing out those curves, and then roll the shoulders back and down. Let your head, neck be free and easy. You might even take another big inhale here. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. And just take a moment or two to stand tall in your Tadasana. And then on your next inhale, blink your eyes open, sweep the arms all the way up and overhead. Exhale, hinge at your hips, dive, fold forward over your legs. So we take a couple little half salutes here. Bring the hands to your shins or leave the hands on the outsides of your feet. Lengthen your chest, coming into that flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, release over your legs. Feel the pressing down of your feet as you inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, draw hands to prayer at your heart, and we'll go again. Inhale, reach, it's really nice. Exhale, dive and fold forward over your legs. Just getting all of that stickiness, that stress out of your space. Inhale, lengthening the chest forward. Exhaling, releasing over your legs. Press down through your feet. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, hands to prayer. And then we move forward. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, dive and fold forward. This time, inhale, come to that flat. And then exhale, plant your hands down flat. Step it back into your plank pose. Pause for a moment here. Just attach your roots to the floor so the hands are nice and spread and rooted down through all four corners. The balls of your feet are rooted. The legs are active. The crown of your head is reaching forward. And then knees up or down. You're going to shift forward. Then the elbows straight back and lower yourself all the way down to the ground. And then for today, you're going to reach your arms forward towards the front of the room. So you come to this sort of fully prone, belly on the floor shape. Squish back just a little bit, just to make sure I'm in frame. And then keeping your hands pressing down into the floor forward in front of you, peel the chest up, coming into this long-armed baby cobra. And then exhale, release. Press those palms down, peel that chest up. Exhale, release. And then one more time, press down through the palms, peel the chest up, reach those toe tips back. Keep the chest lifted, just start to float the legs up. Lengthening through your spine, activating through your legs, and then just float your arms up to meet your legs. You're in this very long locust pose, Shavasana. And then draw your hands back into that chaturanga position. Press down through the palms. Press down through the tops of the feet. Peel the chest up to upward facing dog. And then exhale, press it back, downward facing dog. 5 smooth breaths here. So you spend all that time getting all that alignment sorted out so that now you can pause in this down dog, connect with your breath, fully strong, fully rooted through the hands and feet. And then bend your knees, shift your hips back, send your gaze forward, exhale, step or walk your way up to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen your chest forward, coming to a flat back. Exhale, release over your legs. Press down through your feet. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, draw hands to prayer at your heart. And then we do 2 more Surya A. Just picking up the pace a little bit now that we've got a rhythm. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands. Step it back into your plank pose. Knees up or down. Shift forward, bend the elbows, chaturanga. Roll over the tops of the feet, lift the chest, cobra or up dog. Exhale, press it back. Downward facing dog. 5 smooth breaths here. Then bend your knees, shift your hips back, send your gaze forward, exhale, step, or if you'd like, jump your way up to the top of the mat. Inhale, come into a flat back, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, release over your legs. Press down through your feet, sweep your arms up and overhead on your inhale. Exhale, draw hands to prayer. Last time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant your hands, step it back, take it through your vinyasa, or you could always hold that plank and go straight to a dog. 5 smooth breaths here. And then bend your knees, shift your hips back, send your gaze forward, step or jump your way up to the top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen to that flat back, shift the weight into your right foot, step your left foot all the way back to the back of the mat. So you're in a high lunge here. And then you're just gonna inhale, press that front leg to straight. Exhale, shift forward into the lunge. If the floor is too far away from you here, grab 2 blocks to put under your hands. And then this time, inhale, press the front leg to straight, and then rotate until you come into Prasarita Padottanasana. So you're gonna turn your feet until they're now parallel with the short side of your mat. And then just release the crown of the head down towards the ground, walk the hands back, hug the elbow tips in. Take a moment here in this wide-legged straddle, shift the hips until they stack right up over the ankles. Just allowing your head to hang here. And then bring your hands to your hips. With a flat back, lift your torso all the way upright. Turn your heels in, your toes out. And you're going to bend your knees and sit nice and low in that goddess pose. So you can adjust your feet however wide you need. Right, and I like to take a couple moments to shift a little bit from side to side just so I get my bearings. And then notice if your knees want to knock in, right? You want to rotate from deep inside those hips so the knees stay stacked up over the ankles. And that might mean turning your toes in just a little bit. And then you're going to take your hands, slide them down to the tops of your, that meaty part just above your kneecap. Okay? And you're just going to allow that left shoulder to release down towards the ground while keeping the knees nice and open. And then inhale, come back up. And exhale, twist to the other side. Ooh. And inhale, come back up because I'm having a good time. We're going to repeat that. Release your left shoulder down. Right? You might even, for me, I feel very sticky today. So a little bit of shifting is going to help ground my energy. Inhale. And then exhale, shift to the other side. It's like spring cleaning, kind of scraping the gunk that starts to live deep within your joints. Inhale, come back up to center. That's definitely not a scientific analysis, but that's what it feels like. Come to standing. Toes back together so you're parallel. Lift the chest towards the ceiling. Fold yourself forward over your legs, and then you're just going to turn the right toes forward towards the front of the mat. Crawl your fingertips forward. You come back into that high lunge position. This time, plant your left hand on either the floor or a block, and your right arm up towards the ceiling. Nice big twist here in the upper spine. Left shoulder draws down the back, the crown of the head reaches forward. And then release that right hand down to the ground. Step your left foot forward towards the top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen your chest all the way forward. Shift the weight into your left foot. Step your right foot all the way back to the back of the mat. And so you come into a high lunge now with your left foot forward. And then inhale, press the front leg to straighten any amount. You want your fingertips to stay on the floor. So if the floor is too far away, bring a little block underneath you. Shift yourself back into that lunge. And then inhale, come back to a straight leg. And then you're going to turn yourself into Prasarita Padottanasana again. Now, the magic of YouTube, I'm going to turn myself around so you can see what I'm about to do. And if you're facing away from your
computer and you need to flip yourself around, if you're watching this on your TV, you can do that. So you can see what's going on. You come to a flat back here. This time around, we're going to keep the legs parallel to the short side of the mat. Put the left hand directly underneath your nose. Bring the right hand to your hips. So you'll notice if your hips are really wobbly. And from just the upper spine, you start to revolve that right shoulder open. And then exhale, release. Bring the right hand down. Bring the left hand to the small of your back, just as like truth serum, to make sure it's not weeble wobbly. Roll your left shoulder open, your chest open towards the ceiling. So you notice if the hip is doing it for you. And then exhale, release. And then once again, bring the hands to the hips. Turn your toes out, your heels in just a little bit. Sink the hips down, reach the arms up high, goddess pose. This time, lifting the chest high. Still feeling that downward energy, even as you reach your arms up. And then bring the hands to your hips, press to straight, turn the feet back parallel, and then I'm going to just hop myself back around so that we come back on the right leg. Hug your elbows in, lift the chest forward, tip your torso all the way down to the ground. So then your left toes are going to turn towards the front of the mat. You're going to crawl your hands forward, spin onto the ball of your back foot, plant your right hand down, and open your left arm up towards the ceiling. So you're in your second side of the twist, back to facing the front of your mat. Nice, slow, steady breath here. And then exhale, left hand comes down to the ground, right foot steps forward to meet the left. Inhale, lengthen your chest. Exhale, release. Again, your feet can be hips distance apart, or you can heel toe the feet all the way together. Bend your knees nice and low. Utkatasana, chair pose. Come on up to standing. Draw the hands to prayer at your heart. Close your eyes. Feel yourself reconnecting to Tadasana. And then we're just going to take one round of Surya B. Nice little flow. Blink your eyes open, bend your knees nice and low. Utkatasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen the chest, Ardha. Exhale, plant your hands, step it back into that plank pose, top of a push-up. Take it through a Vinyasa or make straight from that plank to your downward facing dog. Your right foot steps in between your two hands. Your back heel spins to the ground. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, hands come down. Step it back and take it through your Vinyasa. Left foot steps forward. Back heel spins to the ground. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, hands come down. Step it back and take it through. And then you're going to walk your hands all the way back to your feet. Hook your first two fingers around your big toes. Inhale, lengthen the chest forward, flat back. Exhale, bend the elbows, release the crown of the head down towards the ground. Again, shifting so that all four corners of the feet are rooted. You can bend your knees as much as you need here so that you've got a strong sense of Tadasana in your feet. Those roots go deep. And then release the toes. One vertebra at a time. You're going to roll yourself all the way up to standing. Bring your hands to your hips, and we're going to come to Vrikshasana, the tree pose. So shift the weight into your right foot. Those roots go deep, right? You just built them. And then pick up your left foot, and it's either going to come into that little hip crease, or it's going to come to that spot on the side of the calf. Or if your balance feels a little precarious today, it's going to come to a little kickstand. So wherever you choose to balance is fine. Hug that right hip in, and then reach the arms up towards the ceiling. And allow your gaze to be steady forward. So there's a sense of fluidity in this tree pose. It's not rigid. You can still sway in the wind, right? But your roots are so deep that you can't be knocked over. Take 2 more breaths here. And then exhale, release that left foot down to the ground. Come into your Tadasana. Finding that even standing mountain pose. Noticing if your breath is getting ragged. Can you come back to that steady flow? Inhalation, exhalation. And then you shift the weight consciously into your left foot. Pick up your right foot. Bring it into that Vrikshasana tree pose. So you're sucking that left hip into the socket and then pressing that right foot with vigor into that left inner thigh. So you create a little lock there. And then you can reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Lengthen that tailbone down to the floor, and then notice if you feel rigid. Is there something you can soften, even as your gaze is steady forward? And then take 1 more big inhale here. Release the hands down, release that right foot down. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, dive and fold forward over your legs. Crawl those hands out into your downward facing dog. Inhale, sweep your right leg up and back behind you. Exhale, draw the knee all the way up into the nose, round through your upper spine, press down through the roots of your hands, activate and lift through your low belly, and then step your right foot in between the 2 hands. Back heel spins to the ground. Inhale, you rise up into Warrior 1. And then exhale, you open it up into Warrior 2. So you come down into that full potential of your Warrior 2. Knee stacks right up over the ankle, feet root, inner thighs zip up, tailbone drops, spine is long. Press your palms down into an imaginary countertop and let your gaze be steady over your right fingertips. And you might even close your eyes here. You build that steady grounding power with each inhalation and each exhalation. And then stay low in that front leg, flip your front palm, reverse your warrior, reach that right arm all the way up and back behind you. Come all the way back upright, press your front leg to straight. You might heel toe that back foot in a little bit. Hinge your right hip back and come on down into Trikonasana, the triangle pose. So you're revolving your chest open toward the ceiling, right? The net effect is that it will be parallel to the side of your mat. Your right hand is light. Your left hand is reaching. Your right foot is rooted like Tadasana, and the outer edge of that left foot is suctioning down into the ground. Take 1 more inhale here. And then exhale, release that left hand down to the ground. Spin onto the ball of your back foot. Bend through your right knee until it stacks right up over the ankle. And then press down through both of those feet and sweep the arms up and overhead, crescent pose. So finding again your balance here. Noticing what happens when you really are strong in those roots. Does the balance feel a little steadier? And then you're going to bring your arms parallel. You're going to cross the right elbow over top of the left, bend the elbows, and maybe you just touch the backs of the palms together, or maybe you interlace. So it's an eagle pose in that crescent lunge. Lift the chest towards the ceiling, lean the head back. And then exhale, tip that chest forward. And you're going to float yourself up into warrior three. Pressing down through that right foot, reaching through that back heel like it was still pressing into the floor, reaching the crown of your head forward. And then inhale like a little pendulum. Tip your chest upright. Swing your left leg through. You might feel like, cool, I'm good with the balance. Or you might need a little moment to set that left foot down onto the ground before we move into eagle pose, Garudasana. Bend through your right knee, cross the left ankle over top, and maybe it loops around twice. Maybe that left foot just floats in space, or maybe those toes act as a little kickstand. Lift the chest up. Hold yourself forward. Put that little eagle into its nest. If that's not the story for you, you just stay upright in that eagle, gazing forward. And then inhale, if you're tipped forward, lift yourself back upright, unfurl the arms and the legs, just let that eagle fly away. And then you tip your chest back forward towards that warrior three, reach that left foot back, but now you're gonna bring your hands to the floor for support, bend through your right knee, step that left foot all the way back, lower the back knee all the way down to the ground. Inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead, Anjaneyasana. And then you're going to draw the hands to prayer at your heart and twist the left elbow on the outside of the right knee. And this may be plenty right here. Some of you guys, if you're feeling like you've got some fire left, some like angst you still need to get out, tuck your back toe and lift your back knee. And that just requires a little bit more power to hug that right hip in and support through that joint as you reach the crown and head forward. Right, and if you're not into that kind of fire, just keep that right knee on the ground. Still plenty of work happening. Take one more breath here. And then exhale, unwind the twist, tuck your back toe, lift the back knee if it's not already. Step it back into your plank and you decide, Vinyasa or straight to your dog. And we've got one standing side to go, so stick with it. Inhale, float that left leg up and back. Exhale, draw the left knee up into the nose, press down through the palms, step the left foot in between the two hands, back heel spins to the ground. Inhale, you rise up into warrior one. Exhale, adjust the feet and open yourself up into warrior two. So, simple transitions, not super fancy, but there's a lot of gold to be mined. Rooting through the feet, zippering the inner thighs, dropping the tailbone, lengthening the spine. Reaching the arms, pressing down into that imaginary countertop, activating and engaging, finding that steady gaze. And the real power comes from now that you've done all of that, can you find something to soften? As you take 5 breaths here in this powerful warrior two. And then stay low in that front leg. Just flip your front palm, reverse your warrior. Come all the way upright, press that front leg to straight. You might heel toe that back foot in a little bit. Hinge your left hip back and come on down. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Left shoulder draws down the back. Crown of your head reaches forward. Right arm reaches up. Gaze is down at your left foot. Take just a few more breaths here. Keep bring those inner thighs towards each other so that this low pelvis is nice and protected. And then you're going to circle that right hand all the way down to the ground. Spin onto the ball of your back foot with your left knee so you're in that high lunge. Press down through your feet, sweep the arms up and overhead, crescent pose. So you come from that rooted warrior series to your balance. Hug those hips in, draw the hands parallel to the floor, cross the left elbow over the right. Lift the elbow tips, the chest up towards the ceiling. It's just like a little flare right here. And then exhale, tip that forward, press down through the strong root of your left foot, and up you go into warrior three. Flexing through that back heel. Crown of the head reaches forward. And then inhale like a pendulum, tip your chest upright. You'll swing that right leg through, and you might be ready to go straight into the eagle here, or you might just need a second to resettle into Tadasana. And then bend through your left knee, cross the right knee right over top. Maybe it loops around twice, maybe that right foot sort of pulls out into space. And you might stay upright here if you did on side one, or if you got the green light on side one, just fold forward. Putting that eagle in its nest. Really hugging those outer hips towards each other so that hip joint is nice and supported. And then inhale, upright. Unwind the arms and the legs. Tip that chest forward. You reverse engineer your way back into that warrior three, but this time the hands come to the floor. Bend through your left knee, step it all the way back. Lower that back knee down to the ground, untuck the toe. Inhale, reach the arms up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, twist. Right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Leaning your chest up and back. And then just like on side one, if you've still got a little fire, tuck your back toe and lift that back knee. That could be really yummy, or it could feel like a disaster. It feels like a disaster, right? Since our theme today is grounding, maybe bring that knee down to the ground so you can connect with your breath. Take one more breath here. And then exhale. Release. I'm going to take it through one final vinyasa. So step it back to that plank pose. Shift forward, bend those elbows. Roll over the tops of the feet, lift the chest up. Exhale, press it back to your dog. Take a huge inhale through your nose here. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. Walk your hands back to your feet. Turn your toes out, your heels in. You can separate your feet as wide as the mat. And sit the hips down into Malasana, the squat. So it's that really deep rotation through the hips. That tailbone is like a laser towards the floor. It's rooting down. You can close your eyes here. Or find a steady gaze directly out in front of you. Two more breaths. And then release. Lift your hips up towards the ceiling. Heel toe your feet all the way back together. Crawl yourself all the way out to a downward facing dog. Shift yourself all the way forward into a plank pose. And then on a count of 5, lower yourself all the way to the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Shift the elbows forward and lift the chest up. Coming into Sphinx pose. Really keep the legs reaching back towards the back of the mat as the chest lifts high. The hips ground down into the floor. Shoulders draw down the back, and just give yourself a moment here of lifting. And then exhale, release the elbows, release the head back down to the floor. Maybe wiggle the hips out a little bit. And then shift into your child's pose. Hips come back. And then like that child's pose at the beginning of class, maybe you keep your knees together, or at this point, maybe you want to separate your knees and let your chest release down to the floor. And also at this point, you might want to keep your arms reaching forward or draw them back alongside you. Balasana, child's pose. And just give yourself a few breaths here. And then on your next inhale, roll yourself up to seated. Shift the hips off to one side and extend the legs forward, coming into Dandasana, staff pose. So just flex your toes back towards you. Sit up nice and tall. So you let this Dandasana be the seated version of Tadasana. So all your seated poses are rooted in this sense of grounding. Finding something to soften. And then you're going to turn so that you can come into a wide-legged straddle and keep your feet on the mat. You could do this facing forward, but if you're on a hardwood floor, sometimes it can be a little hard on your heels. So this just allows that little soft mat underneath you. And we come into this wide-legged straddle here. So if your hips are on the tighter side and folding forward is a little too much, you can bring the hands back behind you and just work on lifting the chest towards the ceiling as you get this big stretch in the inner hips. If you've got a little bit of mobility and you'd like to tip the chest forward and walk the hands forward, you can release yourself all the way down. You just want to take care that your toes continue to point straight up towards the ceiling so they don't knock in, so that your knees can point straight up towards the ceiling. It's like Prasarita Padottanasana when we were standing. And then you can let your head hang here. Sometimes I like to bend my elbows and make a little shelf for my forehead with my thumbs. And I just place my thumbs right in that spot in the eyes. You know that spot where you get a headache? And sometimes it can be really nice in this forward fold to just give a little pressure point to that potential headache spot. And again, releasing tension. Take one more big breath here. And then walk your hands all the way back upright, or walk your torso upright. You're going to bend your left knee. Keep that right leg extended. And then you're just going to begin to crawl your right fingertips over towards that right ankle. So if everything feels collapsy, right? Maybe the hand only comes to the front of the shin. Maybe it comes all the way to the inside of your right foot. Reach your left arm up towards the ceiling. And then you're going to reach that left arm all the way up and over. And for some of you guys, you might reach all the way down and grab your toe. For some of us, it's just a reach in that direction. So your flexibility is not an indicator of your skill. It's mostly just the way you were put together. So just enjoy this range of motion that you're creating unique to your body. And then inhale, come all the way upright. Extend your left leg back long. Bend through your right knee. Start to crawl those left fingertips forward. Reach the right arm up towards the ceiling. And then lift yourself all the way up and over so you're anchoring through that right hip, getting a good amount of length in that right side waist. Continuing to breathe. And then inhale, come all the way back upright. You're going to draw that left knee in. Turn yourself back around so you're facing the front of the mat. Extend your heels forward. Inner thighs roll down to the ground, feet flex. Arms reach up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, dive and fold forward over the legs. Paschimottanasana. Just releasing the crown of the head, releasing through the backs of the legs. And then inhale, roll yourself up. You might need to scooch yourself forward just a little bit so your heels are closer to the edge of your mat. One vertebra at a time. Roll yourself all the way down to the ground. Hug the knees up into your chest, Appanasana. You can make little circles here. Just giving your low back a massage on the floor. And then switch directions of the circle. And then set the feet down onto the floor. And we're going to take bridge pose. So press the hands down into the floor, the backs of the arms, root down through the feet and lift the hips up. You can snuggle the shoulders underneath you here. Keep rolling those inner thighs down, rooting through your feet. Lengthening your tailbone forward, lifting your chest towards your chin. After all that work today, this back bend feels so solid, so rooted, so grounded. Take one more breath here. And then exhale, lower the hips down to the ground. Take a pause. And we're going to do just one more like that. So find first Tadasana in your feet. Press the palms down into the ground. Feel that wee lift in your upper chest. And then press down through the palms and the feet and lift the hips. Snuggle those shoulders underneath you, and you might interlace your hands, or you might even just hold the sides of your mat. Steady breath in and out through your nose. And then release the hands and lower the hips. Draw the knees up into your chest. And then this time, just let the knees fall all the way to the right. Let the head turn to the left. Easy twist. Just one last bit of unwinding. And then draw the knees up into the chest. And let them to the other side. And then draw the knees up into the chest. Bring the soles of your feet together and just let the feet come down to the ground. Let the knees open, just Supta Baddha Konasana. So bringing one hand to the belly and one hand to your heart, or maybe even two hands to the belly, whatever comfortable. And this is one of those poses, Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound ankle pose. That is incredibly beneficial when you feel like your mind or your heart might be going in 1,000 different directions. You need to just get centered. Just give yourself several minutes here. And then draw the knees back together. And just know anytime, whether it's in class or just on its own, if you want to revisit that Supta Baddha Konasana, I find it's very helpful. Draw the knees up into your chest. Maybe extend the heels up towards the ceiling if the backs of the legs need one more little release. And then just release the legs out long. Let the palms open up towards the ceiling. Let yourself get comfortable. And we take a few moments here in Shavasana. Letting your body and your mind rest and process everything you put into it. Taking one last big controlled inhale through your nose. And then exhaling, opening your mouth, letting it go. And for just a bit, allow yourself to rest. And then allow your next inhale to be just a little bit deeper. Begin to wiggle through your fingers and your toes. Stretch the arms up and overhead. And then as you're ready, begin to make your way up to a comfortable cross-legged position. Sitting up nice and tall. Getting yourself set up for what could be the most challenging part of your practice today, which is a seated meditation. So your physical yoga practice is designed to prepare your breath your body and your mind to just be able to sit still, which is what we're going to do right now. So you can gently close your eyes and just allow yourself to be fully awake and sit still, letting any thoughts or any sounds, any sensations drift in one ear and out the other. And then when you're ready, you'll blink your eyes open, draw the hands to prayer at your heart, bow your head towards your hands, finishing out with that little gesture of gratitude. And as always, taking gratitude with you as you move off of your mat and into the rest of your day. Namaste. Nice work, you guys. It's seriously such a pleasure seeing you guys here every Monday. We'll do another live class next Monday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. And then I got a fresh new tutorial breaking down a pose dropping on Thursday at 9 a.m. And on Saturday at 10 a.m. we got a fresh short form class. So definitely check those out. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe so that you can get notified whenever those new videos land. And that's good. I'll see you guys next time on the mat. Bye.